Hi-ho, Nation Harry here. We've turned the corner into the second fiscal quarter of 2020. Good Lord. And let's all catch our breaths for a minute. But Joshua Liberman's back from Albuquerque, New Mexico, sir. How you doing? You said you don't get hay fever. It's spring. Usually I'm getting a little hay fever. You said you don't get hay fever.
As far as I know, I don't have any allergies. Maybe I just don't notice. I've been accused of being kind of dense, but I don't seem to suffer any seasonal maladies.
Well, hey, I want to talk about, this is an interesting topic. So it had to have been 15 or 16 months ago, because we were starting to line up what your professional and personal objectives were for 2019. You said you wanted to write more, you wanted to speak more. I have reason to believe you're on track for that, but let's talk about the writing. So what are you doing? Are you writing articles for Channel Pro, or what's going on?
I'm writing articles. For the most part, they've been either in Channel Pro, Business Solutions, or I'm sorry to say one or two other online sources I can't pin to, right? Tech Mentor, maybe. I'm not, I have to go look. They're always articles that are related, nowadays, they're always related to securing small business and securing your own MSP. And some of them are businessy and many of them are techie, so they vary quite a bit. But recently I've been picked up for a series of 4, the first of one, which just came out in this month's Channel Pro, that's really specific about how to choose, or how I've chosen specific security solutions to be part of our security stack. And I'd like to talk about that at more length, but I don't want to answer your question in 9 minutes. So go ahead.
Well, I want to kind of go back up to the personal branding. You know, the hot thing is, you know, you're supposed to be a personal brand, right? It's a different world than essentially our parents grew up in. So 15, 16 months ago, I believe you shared you wanted to increase your visibility. You like to do this. And so how's it going? I mean, you're now, let's call it a year and a half potentially since we had this talk. Is it working for you? Are you still feeling good about it? And then do you feel you're getting the accolades and recognition that you deserve?
Well, I guess the good news is every time I'm at one of these events with free drinks, people buy me drinks. So I'm certainly succeeding there. My goals were really more personal than business driven, even though, as you pointed out, branding is a big deal. I'm trying to make sure I continue to enjoy doing what I do. And most MSPs, especially those of us who've been at it long enough to remember pre-internet days, will tell you that the job's a lot harder than it used to be. People are a lot more stressed, the folks that you work with and work for, vendors, employees, and clients. They're all more stressed. It's all more difficult. And it's harder to go home at the end of the day and be happy about what you succeeded at that day. A lot of times in the years past, we could go think about the network we built or the productivity solution we engineered or the problems we solved, and all those things were positives. Now, a lot of times we go home and we feel like we've won just by not losing. Just nobody got penetrated today, the network sense, just that nobody lost data and nobody lost their business. And those are different. It's different. It's a much more difficult thing. I can think of at least 3 MSPs I've spoken to in a month that have voiced a concern or something like, I didn't get into it for this. I got into it to help people for productivity, all the things I talked about, and all I'm doing is defending them, you know, at the gate. I am literally carrying a sword and keeping people outside of the castle. That's not where we all started in this business. So to balance that, I've done a couple of things, one of which is, as you know, photography, and I enjoy shooting the events and being part of that, and the money pays for my travel elsewhere. But the other half of it within the industry is to write and speak so that I can reach out to people who are peers or beyond peers. There's a lot of people I write to, speak to that know more than I know about any given thing. But also to help people who are getting started or recovering or who are changing track, because there's so many tracks in this industry, that makes me happy. And it fills the void that used to be filled by coming home at the end of the day, satisfied that you made forward progress. Like I said, nowadays, not going backward can feel like moving forward.
Yeah, that's great. It would make that the headline. That's the good wordsmithing there. Well, let's do this. I'll tell you what we'll do, because I just wanted to kind of stay focused on what you're doing, the branding, and you've added personal satisfaction to this motion. So next month, let's double click down into a couple of your recent articles. Let's pick one. Let's get geeky, right? Let's go there.
So I wrote a series of articles on how to structure and or how to build an ideal security stack as an MSP. They were much more general. They were about how to choose partners as vendors as partners, how to figure out the rough outlines of what you have to deliver and defend against, how to weave those products together, how to respond to changes like vendor acquisitions or those that double prices suddenly. Basically, how to build a modular service delivery structure that could adapt as you needed to, whether it was to threats, disappearing vendors, price changes, et cetera. It was just how to do that. It was all about how to weave. And now I'm actually kind of talking about the products that we've woven. So this month that came out in Channel Pro was all about a product known as Nodeware from the company Infinite Group. But it's basically a localized device or VM that scans for local vulnerabilities, from missing patches to deprecated protocols that are still in place on a network, to default username and passwords, or even new device alerting on a subnet or subnets. So this article is the first of 4 very specific, very techy ones about, okay, now we've chosen an area that we have to address, so an entire series of vulnerabilities to protect against. How do we execute? What did we choose? How did we deploy it? What was it like?
Yeah. All right, my friend. Take care. We'll talk to you next month.
All right, Harry. Thank you very much.